Good afternoon, welcome to Talking Business on ITV. I am Blessing H. Straight away, let's get into the issues. So for today, we have two very important topics. The first one, let's look at the new entrants into the telecom sector, particularly in the Nigerian internet market. We have 38 that have been approved by the NCC to get into the internet market. To discuss this, I've got Dr. Saze Iyua on the show today. Welcome, sir.
Good afternoon. Thank you.
Good afternoon to you
It's a pleasure always being here.
You're welcome. So, one of the 38 new entrants into the Nigerian internet market is owned by Elon Musk. So finally, the break into the Nigerian internet market, making it to go over 200. That's 200 ISPs in the internet market. Now, what do you think the impact will be having 38 new entrants in that sector? Does it mean we'll be having improved service, or it's just business and we shouldn't get our hopes too high?
Yeah, ordinarily it should mean good news for the country, especially because when you check the last GDP figures that I think we discussed about it some couple of weeks ago, you see that ICT alone contributed between about 16% to GDP. Okay. So it's one of the leading sectors now. Though usually they like to disaggregate IST from telecom. But when you combine ICT and telecom, you see that it cumulatively contributes about over 20% to GDP. Good. So ordinarily it should be good news. Yeah, but the biggest news is the fact that Elon Musk has been, his company Starlink, or SpaceX, which is the satellite name of his special, the combined satellite firm that he has. It's coming into the market. When I saw it in May, I was very happy. You know, I was excited, and I think he started the process about a year ago. So it's among the 38 new entrants into the market. Yeah, but it's interesting, yeah. So it's going to be competing now with the other existing ISPs. Before now, as you said, we had over 200. In fact, on paper,
we had less than 200. We had like 190 something of them, but now it takes it well over 200.
Plus, yeah. But when I read an article recently, it's just about 73 that are active. Okay. That are active. Many of recent, in the last 2 years, have exited the Nigerian economy. They've alluded to economic hardship, especially because of cost of power and so on. Yeah, but where this Elon Musk's Starlink company coming in, it's good news because the other existing, including Glow Network, the terrestrial networks,
the mobile networks,
yeah, have usually used, even including the ISPs, the existing ISPs, have used terrestrial networking. That's using what do you call it? This fiber cable, fiber optics cable. That's the full meaning. Using it through underground, where you see these Hausa boys digging the ground and putting it under the ground. Some through rivers, but Elon Musk technology, the Starlink, goes with satellites. You know, from the air. He has existing satellites. In fact, at last year, his company had about 3,000 satellites in the skies, you know, and the company gave a target of about 4,200 satellites before the end of the year. So that shows that he does not need, that's the advantage the Starlink has over the existing telecom or ISPs. He doesn't need your terrestrial network, so he can cover our rural areas, which is the problem. You know, our rural areas,
bridging the digital gap.
Yeah, bridging that digital gap between the urban and rural area, because that has been the problem with our existing telecoms. They've not been able to penetrate into the rural areas. And from our population census, we saw that we have 46.4% are rural dwellers, while urban dwellers about 54.4%. So we have 46.4% who are not covered by internet services. Some may have basic telephoning, hello services, but the broadband network is just about 42% currently in the country. So 42 minus 100, you see that you have about 56% that are not covered by internet. So that's what Elon Musk's Starlink does. Since the satellite network can cover the rural areas.
All right, not to sound like this is bent on promoting that Starlink alone, because we have 38, that's just one. But you mentioned something about Elon Musk, the advantage that he may have over other competitors. That's the infrastructure. But to create a healthy ground for competition and improved service, should there not also be an infrastructure improvement?
That's where it's supposed to be. But that's where competition comes into the market. And that's why there have been different commentaries that Elon Musk, in fact, one IT expert from US was saying that Elon Musk's company is almost like asymmetric destruction to any market that it goes to, because he does not, to get a satellite, sometimes there are some countries that, I think Nigeria recently launched 2 or 3, so some countries don't even have as many as 2, 3 satellites. So for a single individual to have 3,000 satellites, so you see that it's going to be difficult to compete with that company. You know, and because of the satellite coverage, you know, a satellite is up, it covers the entire ground, like you who have to now start putting fiber cables around the whole entire
country. May have obstructions.
Obstructions and the cost. So that's the advantage that he has over the others. So without even being sounding like we are marketing it, but that's just the true picture of things. But there's also a downside to it, and that's where
I was going to ask, if you have more leverage over your competitors, you have more advantage over them. Does that not also bring on a disadvantage for the consumer in terms of cost?
That's the cost. That's the disadvantage. Should you call it a disadvantage? But that's the weakness that he would have. So he's not just going to come into a straight competition. You know, it's going to be a competition between quality, we call it quality of value for money, and the price itself.
Okay.
So it's the price or the cost that is going to be the discerning point between the Starlink and the others, because it's on his website. I was going through his website just day before yesterday. So in fact, immediately they launched, he was the one who tweeted that the NCC had given him license. I think that was in May. And when you look at the cost, it says about $110 per month as subscription. When you convert that to naira, it's about 74,000 naira
monthly
for a month.
So that's maybe something corporate organizations can afford.
Yeah, in fact,
for individuals.
That's the Starlink internet for individuals. Then there's the business package. The business package is about 2,500 naira per month. $2,500 per month.
It already spells like its target is the elites.
Yeah, it should sound so. The point is that you are paying for quality. The internet speed is massive. You know, our normal telecoms or cellular network internet gives you 17.8 megabytes per second. That's the speed, 17.8 megabytes per second. But this Starlink is telling you that he would give for the individual, which is $110, but it's between 50 and 150 megabytes per second speed. 150 megabytes, that's 17. So that's like times 1,000. Then for the business link, which is $2,500 per month, it's a speed of about 500 megabytes per second. So
looking at this,
it's a complex.
It seemed like it's going to be only for those who can afford it. Given the Nigerian economy and the minimum wage of a lot of persons, and the use of internet these days is for virtually everything. Those who have small businesses, even for communication, because some persons have even moved communication beyond having direct calls to having the messaging app for communication. So it seems like the benefit is not going to be widespread. It's only for those who can afford it. Is there a way to make it not be that way? If you have 38 new entrants in a sector or in a market, should the effect not be better than what it would be if this actually plays out? It's
true. That's why, as I said, when I saw the news in May 2022, that's about 2 months ago, when I was very excited, but when I had to research, I had to tone down my excitement, because it's not like, as I said, it's a choice between quality and price. And at the end of the day, it will be for, I think it will largely be embraced, at least at the beginning, by corporate organizations, firms that need these large. So imagine a bank that has not been doing rural banking all this while. You go to communities like even Ekiadolo here, communities like Udo, Igobazoa, those where you don't have banks. So with this now, you would expect that I think that's very small for a bank. So the business package that is $2,500, that's about 350,000 naira. So it should encourage banks to now set up branches in the rural areas. So what it does is that it brings internet speed and internet access to previously uncovered areas. So it's largely, for me, my thinking is for business firms, banks, then governments too should be able to leverage on that. We could also have stuff like all this telemedicine that we've been talking about, where rural dwellers can have access to healthcare. Yeah, even rural education too. So you can have government, if it wants to bring out this mass education, you can have somebody teaching in Abuja, for example, teaching mathematics or Lagos.
So that's the benefit for those in the rural area.
Yes, if government is ready to take the cost. So it's just going to be something like DSTV or your multi-choice. You are not going to...
Satellite TV.
Satellite TV, exactly. You are not going to... It's not just going to be your phone. You buy the package. So for like this individual package that is 74,000, the equipment price is separate. I think the equipment is about $590. So you have to buy it. It's like a dish. You install it either in your house. It comes with routers, comes with... So, and it's mobile. You can... So it's going to be like an individual thing. It's not broad coverage like Glo or MTN, where you just buy
mobile network providers. Now, one thing that was also mentioned after NTC released that 38 new entrants had just come into the Nigerian internet market was that the mobile network providers before this time seemed to have more advantage than the small ISPs, maybe because of the infrastructure that they had, and perhaps that was responsible for a lot of them exiting the country. Now it's another coming in where you have the other 37. What should be the role of the NCC to encourage small ISPs to thrive in the market as well? Yeah,
I think it will now have to do with infrastructure sharing. Yeah, because it's expensive. It's really not small money to come and set up that kind of business. You have to now get, because beyond the fiber optics that you have to lay either in the ground or in the water, you know, you have to have your phone masts. You see, you have and that's why the coverage is a problem. You see all these MTN masts, Glo masts. There has to be a mast that covers a particular area, and your mast has to be above ground level to be able to. So it's an infrastructure. You know, telecom is like aviation. It's a very expensive business. So that's why I said over the 300 or 200 on paper, just about 73 are functioning. So, and I think most of those 73, the reports I've read is that they are sharing with the existing networks like Glo, MTN,
sharing with the network providers.
Sharing the infrastructure, and definitely it means that you have to be giving a certain commission to them. So before you also get yours, you know, you power your mast. You see all these MTN, you see a full big generator by them loaded with diesel regular. So it's an expensive venture. And to think of the fact that when you put off your masts, your fiber optics, and it's able to give you just a very small coverage. Imagine if after doing all that, probably from here to Sapomba Road or Sapele Road, and how many subscribers can you get, especially with the fact that the 4 major networks have already gotten their market share already. So it's going to be difficult for the other 37 ISPs. That's my thinking. It's just going to be like another section of coming, then let's see how many people will be able to struggle, because the economy is tough. If power alone was out of the market, then I think most of them would have been able to survive. But it's going to be difficult, as I think. There are so many names that we don't know. And most of these 73, to show how difficult it is, there's none that is in Benin currently when I researched. They are all in major cities like Abuja, Lagos, and Port Harcourt.
Could it be because there's no market, or they don't think there will be enough markets for them in places like Benin City and some of the small cities?
Yes, I think because of the funds that is available to them, so they've prioritized based on probably the number of millionaires per state, the number of the population, the number of, generally we know that those are the 3 big states in terms of should we call it funds or income. There's a report that talks about millionaires per state in
we'll
every
get to
in Nigeria.
that.
Yeah,
We'll get to that.
So I think that's what they are looking at in Lagos, Abuja, Port Harcourt. They are looking at the substance of the people there, you know, and the business traffic in those states. So they will be, and it's because of money. You know, it's when you have money that you now start to prioritize. When money is not involved, prioritization does not come. So
prioritization on the side of the consumer?
The ISPs, no,
okay,
the ISPs.
the
so
ISPs.
Probably because of the funds available, so they've decided to prioritize those three. And even at those three, it's still very difficult for them. So that's the advantage that Starlink has over the rest. And it's going to be a tough decision. So it's going to now be a choice between quality and funds. It's going to give you internet access. It's going to give you 150, 500 megabytes per second. That's probably on the touch of your phone you get, but
not everybody can afford that. So at the end of the day, only few persons get to benefit from that.
We'll do that.
Beyond regulation and issuing of licensing, what should be the responsibility of the NCC? Look at the power sector. When the power sector was privatized, we still had the government control some part of it. We had generation, we had transmission, and then we had distribution. Now, for maintenance of infrastructure, it was shared, so to speak. But when you look at the communications sector, it seemed like it's left solely for the providers to build the infrastructure, to distribute. Again, beyond licensing and regulation, what ideally should be the role of the NCC towards ensuring infrastructure?
Yeah, but you know, because NCC did a complete deregulation of the market, it's unlike the power sector where you had a share. You know, TCN, government held 100% share in transmission. Even in the discos, government held about 90% shares. It's just a few that it gave out to the. So you have, it was not a complete deregulation in the power sector. But what happened in the telecommunication sector was that it was a complete deregulation. In fact, NITEL infrastructures were scrapped. The Glo and the rest had to come with their own infrastructure. So when you don't have a stake in the market, then there's little you can do beyond regulation. So NCC, I don't know. As far as NCC does not have any of the infrastructure, it doesn't have masts, it doesn't have cables, it has nothing really. It's completely scrapped its infrastructure that was owned by NITEL. You know, so I think all it could do could just be regulation. And that's where, if it does its regulation properly, then we might not even feel the harshness of the private sector. Because right now, they are billing us with very, very little control by NCC. But we have to also give NCC some credit. You know, there was recently when they were talking of coming to increase data prices and call rates, NCC refused. Yeah, but I don't know. I think it might have increased. But so if they do their regulation rule properly, I think it's fair. But as long as they don't have any stake in the infrastructure, there's little they can really do beyond regulation.
Now, if they don't have any stake, but on the side of regulation, what areas should they tweak to make it easy for the small ISPs, for other telecommunication networks to provide infrastructure or upgrade their infrastructure with ease, so that at least people get more value for what they pay?
Yeah, and probably that's where a subsidy could now come in. Yeah, because these are international rates. When you check this particular network that I mentioned, Starlink, when you check the website, it's a website. That's the general amount, international. So coming to Africa, it would apply because that's the universal figure on their general website. So if government wants to, these are things that government should have negotiated with the company at the point of coming inception, licensing. So where government now comes in should be subsidy. That's the only way government can come in. You cannot dictate to a businessman how he runs his business. He will simply leave the market for you. So I think where it comes in, that government should subsidize. So for our rural areas that we talked about, this is what government can do. It could buy those equipment, the dish, the router, and so on. Put it for, if it has a, what do you call this, rural healthcare, this it's village, they call it healthcare centers here. So for its healthcare centers in the rural areas like Uneme, Agenebude, and so on, government could get routers. Buy it, I think it's $550. That's about $350 put it in those areas, put it in rural schools. Yeah, buy this infrastructure, put it in rural schools. Local governments would also come and subsidize. That's where you do it for your rural people, since you cannot do it, you cannot perform the services. So government pays the subscription on behalf of the health centers, on behalf of the rural schools, so that they get quality education. Because most of these rural schools, they are a whole Monday to Friday. We have most of these teachers in the rural areas. They can't even make the journey. So most of them, they just go on Tuesday and Wednesday. So there's a service to most of the students. So
okay,
this is where government comes in.
To make it easy for people to just communicate and
exactly.
teach, okay?
Exactly. So you have a general, there's a Bridgeway Academy that is run by, I think, UN or one of these. So you have such in some African countries. They call it Bridgeway Academy. So you teach. So you can teach from Abuja.
Online
learning, yes. So you can teach, so that someone in Queen's College in Abuja, you are teaching, and your government has purchased this Starlink equipment and infrastructure.
Maybe not Starlink, because at this point I think you have to pay for advertising for Starlink.
Okay, yes, you can pay for any of this equipment, put in the rural areas. Then you are teaching in Queen's College in Abuja. So the highbrow children in Abuja are enjoying the lecture from Abuja in Queen's College, and you have a child in Agenebo who is getting the same education through free video streaming.
And
so that's where
standard.
It comes. Exactly. So, and it's unfortunate that it's the way it is, because mentioning Starlink, but the truth is that most of the other ISPs, because they don't have the satellite up, they would not be able to reach those rural areas. And that's the problem that we currently face. But we have 46%, that's a huge amount.
What does that automatically spell for those small ISPs?
What it means is that they are just coming to serve the urban areas, the already choked urban area. We already have enough people serving us. Glow Network is 73. They're already serving us. So, and that's what business is about.
I'm looking at the ones who do not have a very standard infrastructure to compete against some others. Yeah. What does that spell for them?
For me, it means that they are going to come, try their hands at it. If it's something that they think at the end of probably whatever the period, if it's 6 months, 1 year, and they look at their profit and loss account statements, if they see it's not favorable, then they might exit again. Because if out of 200, you have 73, so it might just be an in and out market.
So to forestall the in and out system, what should be done? Yeah,
to forestall, it means that we expect that these people should be more daring. The Glows of the world, the MTNs or the ISPs already there, they should be more daring and go into the rural area. But because of the value that the rural areas, they are not likely to get there, they will remain in the urban area. That's the way the average businessman thinks, and you cannot blame him. The average businessman is looking at where his profit is going to come from. He's not going to. That's where government should now come in. Government could now assist them and say, okay, private-public partnership. Let's go into the rural area, because I'm saying 46.4% rural areas is underserved. It does not have internet service, and that's a huge market. And that's if we are talking about, we talk about financial inclusiveness, and that's where the mobile banking also comes in. I told you one time in Ghana, you have mobile banking. Rural areas, they have the mobile bank. They've given these Glow, MTN, I think the 3 major network banking licenses recently to be able to carry out banking services. But it will just be serving us here until they go into those rural areas. So the options are government, partners. That's what happened in Ghana. Partners with these telecoms, then draw infrastructure, the fiber optics into the rural areas so that they can be served. But until then, someone has come that is telling that is providing satellite that he doesn't need to use optics. So that's unfortunately the advantage he has.
Okay, so it seems like except government comes in, bridging the digital gap is still a very long journey for Nigeria.
Yeah, and the risk is that because an alternative has come from one company now, we might expect that government might just become lazy. So if there was even any urge to do your fiber optics into the rural areas, and somebody is coming and saying, I'm giving you internet and satellite, that you don't need to do that. So government would now have to sit down and think, look at the cost and benefit analysis. Does it make sense for us to enter this huge expenditure of drawing fiber optics to the villages, or go with this particular company? So, and we know the Nigerian government most times likes to take the easy route. So If before there was an alternative, for the last, it's been 20, 30 years since these mobile networks were decentralized from NITEL. So if in the last 20, 30 years, government has not made any move, then when they didn't have an option, then now that there's an option, I'm not expecting them to make any move now. So I think they might just take the easy routes, decide to, I know our government likes contracts. So this is a good way to now start doing contracts with whosoever the individual that is bringing this infrastructure. Okay, so how much are you selling? So if you sell it, I'm selling at 350. A corrupt government will tell you, okay, we'll give you at 1 million. Then you now start having kickback. So this might even be another opportunity for the corrupt officials to make money instead of doing what we expect them to do. So I'm not optimistic at all. I'm even thinking that this is the easy route that government will flow along with, and officials will just start making serious money from it. But on the side of the people, beyond being not able to pay for the cost, it might also bring employment. You would have people who will now be importing these equipments from wherever the company is. They will be importing it. You have wholesalers, you have retailers, you have installers who will be installing these equipment. You have repair and maintenance. So I expect that it should create employment for people, yeah, because you have to install these dishes wherever it is. So on the people side, it should create employment, but I think government will just flow along it. That's my personal opinion.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Sazera, for all of this you said regarding the Nigerian internal market and the new entrants. We've got a quick break. We'll be right back talking about Lagos States.